So hi everyone, this is Jiggie, a portrait and wedding photographer from the Philippines, and welcome to the channel. In this video, I want to tell you a story on why I actually stopped using my Sony A7R Mark V. If you guys have been watching my videos, you know that this is my primary camera. This is a Sony A7R Mark V. But for the longest time, I refused to hold on to this camera because photography for me is not just about work, but rather it is about passion. It is about documenting my life. And you see, every time I feel or see this camera, I feel that I am working. Because look at the way it looks like. It's actually a work camera and it does everything that you need it to do. However, imagine me taking a trip and having to bring around these cameras. It basically just removes that enjoyment for me for taking pictures, which now brings me to an actual story on how I started with photography and how this particular camera rekindled my love for photography in 2024. So in 2013, I actually bought my first Sony camera, which was the A7R, not the A7, but the A7R, which is basically the first version of this one. The reason why I bought that camera was because I wanted a beautiful, small travel camera that I can take with me to family affairs and take amazing photos. At that time, I was using a different camera brand, starting with the letter C, with having one number, so you know that it's actually bigger than this one. So I was looking for a camera that would actually allow me to actually shoot and not having to be weighed down by such a big camera. So that was a Sony A7R Mark V. I hope you guys don't mind. I'll actually set up some lights because I'm be shooting later. So this is going to be a portrait setup because I want to do a self-portrait. Okay, so where was I? So I bought my first camera then and I was so happy with it. I honestly was so happy with that Sony system that's a time that I decided that I wanted to do a full shift to Sony. And I remember during that time, I only had two lenses that would autofocus aside from the kit lens. That was a 35mm 2.8, which is what I'm using now to record this video. And of course, the 55mm 1.8. And I remember shooting my first wedding actually with a manual focus lens. All my Leica lenses and my Zeiss lenses were the lenses that I used then. So anyway, so what happened then? Photex, a brand that I would be working with, or the brand that I was working with for a long time prior to that, found out that I bought a Sony and they go, you know what? We actually have a flash system that works well with a Sony camera that can do off-camera TTL and high-speed sync. I was like, wow, give it to me then. So they sent it over and I started using it. And when I started using it with the mirrorless system, it just blew my mind. Being able to see what my camera was exposing for, my white balance, everything, it just made sense. Prior to that, for me to get a live view, would have to do those mirror ups and then the focusing would be so bad. So Sony, revolutionary, small camera. But the thing is, when people found out and people started using it, they started clamoring for more things. The professional photographers like myself, they go, yeah, we need in-body stabilization, we need better focusing, we need so many more things. And that's exactly what happened. So skip to now 2024, we have the Sony A7R Mark V, which is the 5th generation of my first camera. And it had everything, except that I felt that it lost its soul. Because now it is a professional camera. So every time I would look at this camera, I know it would be work. And that's the reason why I actually stopped using my camera for leisure for the longest time, because I felt that whenever I would hold on to my camera, it was work. And we have to admit, the way the Sony system looks, it's very professional, but it does the job. It does it amazingly. However, I wanted to rekindle my love affair with photography, and I don't want to have to bring around this big cameras the same way I used to bring out big cameras and when I bought my first A7. Then, Sony just did something out of the blue, I think it was last year, and they just announced something, and it rekindled my love for photography. And what is it? The Sony A7C Mark II. This particular camera, the moment I saw it with a silver top, I was like, fantastic, because it looks amazing. And once again, it's a full frame camera, but look how small it is compared to my bigger A7R Mark V. I could have actually opted for the CR, which was literally the baby A7R Mark V, but I didn't want that big megapixel because I already had it here. This is my work camera. This is my leisure camera. This is my lifestyle camera. This rekindled my love for photography. This one brings in the money. This one brings in the passion. And why do I love it so much? Again, it's about passion. It's about being, you know that saying of the best camera is the camera that you have with you? Well, I never had it. I always had my phone because, again, this was too big. I remember my A7, I'd bring it with me everywhere I'd go. Now, this one, for the past how many months that I've had it, it's always with me. And with the fact that I can actually connect this to my phone and edit my raw pictures in my phone wirelessly, it just makes social media content or social media uploading so much quicker. Like with the creative app, with the creators app for Sony, I can actually get my raw files from here, wirelessly transmit it to my phone, and in my phone, edit it in Lightroom Mobile. So I'm editing the raw files and good to upload, right? Everything that the photographers were asking for in 2013, they were able to put in this small camera. AI focusing, in-body stabilization, absolutely fast focusing. Well, the screen is not that great, the viewfinder is not that great, but it's still good enough for you to use. You just need to know that the pictures are actually better than what you see in these viewfinders and these screens. Then I just put in this silver thing here, which I normally put anyway in my camera so that I can basically mount it on my tripod anytime, and it just completes the look. Now, I have here the kit lens, but normally what I have here is my original 35mm 2.8 from 11 years ago, and I just put in a square hood. I'll show you a picture right now of my actual setup, but I'm waiting for the 40mm, the 50mm, and the 24mm compact lenses from Sony that I actually ordered. So, okay, so what am I doing here? I'm actually setting up my hair light, so I need my light for my main light, but I'll do that some other time. So if you guys want to actually see the output of this video, I actually wanted to set this up, but I got so caught up in the story that I was telling you or sharing with you guys that I completely forgot to set up the lights already. But I do hope that you subscribe to the channel so you could see how this lighting setup turned out. Now, for you guys who are already subscribed to the channel, please do let me know what you think of this particular format, because I am trying to make it as conversational as possible, or sometimes creating some videos that doesn't really entail photography, but rather still have something to do about photography. So it's about, you know, how I've always believed that photography is not just about learning the technical stuff, but it's also about passion. It's also about emotion. It's also about your vision. And your vision is really dependent on your personal mindset. So again, one of those things that I might talk about then in the future. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Now, if you want to see some of the images that I've actually created, you could always find me in my social media sites on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Jiggie Alejandrino. Okay? Till the next video, I gotta go to work and start using my work camera again. Okay?